No bullshit. How to maximize your FPS in Fortnite in 2025. Let's jump right into it. Going into your Fortnite settings in the very first tab called video, you're going to be looking at display here. Make sure your window mode is set to full screen. Make sure your resolution is set to 1920 by 1080. Unless you have a 1440p monitor, then you can change it and maximize it with that. VSync, turn this off. Frame rate limit. In order to figure this out, you have to go to your settings, go to system, then go to display, scroll all the way down to get to advanced display settings right here. Click that and make sure your monitor is set to 240 or whatever hertz you have. Whatever you see here, whatever the max one is, set it to that. Go back to Fortnite and make sure that your frame rate limit is matched with this. The reason we do this is anything more can mess around with the way your game looks because your monitor isn't as fast. Into this can cause weird issues with your game. Performance mode is only for computers that have lower end stuff or older generation spec. So make sure your rendering mode is set to DirectX 12. Not setting it to this can cause weird issues with your game. It can randomly cause FPS drops in game. Make sure this is set to DirectX 12. You can skip over this graphics tab. What you really need to look at is its graphics quality. I have a pretty good computer, so what I have it set at is what my computer can handle without limiting its performance. I recommend setting this to off. 3D resolution, I have it at 100. If you really want to maximize it, you can set it to like 90, even like 85. You shouldn't see much of a difference with it. Dynamic 3D resolution, I have it at off. Nanite virtualized geometry, I have that off. Shadows, I have it at epic. Probably turn these off if you don't really need them. Global illumination, I have this set to off. Reflections, you can also turn these off. View distance, this is the one that you should probably keep. If not max, keep the second to max far. You need view distance. Textures, I recommend having it to medium so it doesn't look too ugly. Effects, I also recommend having this to medium. Post-processing, again, set this to medium or high just because it affects things with like bloom, motion blur, and depth of field. So I'd recommend have this to medium, even high maybe, just to not mess with anything like that. I also recommend to have the show FPS button on. It'll always show in the top right every corner. I've had this on for years. It really isn't too distracting. It's just that you know what your FPS is currently at. If you scroll a little farther down in the same section, you're going to find the replays and energy saving settings. I'll be honest, if you've seen videos of this type of content, you've probably seen of people saying that you need to turn these off, turn these off, turn these off. You know, it affects your thing. It affects the way your game looks. You know, and I've watched a lot of these videos about different content creators talking about if this should be kept on or off. I'll tell you to turn it off. I have tried this. I've tested this out many times. I am pretty sure this is just all placebo effect. They tell you it's going to look better. Your brain kind of interprets that it will look better, and you kind of tell yourself it looks better. It really doesn't. This does not affect your FPS basically at all. If you want, you can turn these off. If you do things like content creation, want to record videos, want to see replays, I'd leave that on and just turn off the ones you don't use. You know, I don't use large team replays. I turn those off. Energy saving, if you want to save some money on some bills, I would just turn these on and set this activate sleep mode after whatever time you want to leave it on for. 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever you want to see it for. All right, that's it. That is the quickest way to maximize your FPS. And very quickly, I want to mention that any type of software you see a creator promote on their page for things like quicker FPS, to download this software, do not listen to that. More likely than not, they're getting paid to show that to you. Things like VPNs, gaming experiences, gaming labs. Do not download any of that. Do not pay for any of that. None of that will actually boost your FPS. It's all placebo. They're just trying to sell you something. Is the only thing you will need and the only way to maximize your FPS. If this isn't helping you, then you need a new computer or you need to upgrade your computer. I'm telling you, no bullshit. If you guys did enjoy this, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Check out my last video. And I'll catch you guys again later this week.